when you're in Korea, you have to do a little bit of sightseeing. So this is a review of a tour of the DMZ given by the USO, United Service Organization. And we took that tour on one of our days off, and would like to just let you know what you can expect on that tour. The tour was about $40. We felt it was really worth it. First of all, you meet at Samgakji Station near the Seoul War Memorial and get on a big bus, and you drive up to the border. You can see there it's very heavily guarded with barbed wire and everything all the way up. Just that ride in itself was quite an experience. And then you get to Camp Boniface, which is the United Nations command post right there on the border, and you get a little introduction to the DMZ and what it's all about. And that was also really interesting. After that, you go to the Joint Security Area, which is basically an area where they hold negotiations and stuff between North and South Korea. So these blue buildings actually lie on both sides of the border, and at this particular area there's no fence or anything. So it is a little bit tense, and the soldiers always stand in kind of a taekwondo position, I guess to just intimidate the other side, really. Those white markers there indicate the border. While we were there at the border, they instruct you not to make any gestures or communicate with any of the soldiers in any way. And at certain points you can take pictures, at certain points you can and can't. So you can really tell that it's kind of a tense situation. I took these pictures of a North Korean soldier here who was coming to check us out. Of course, right along the border between North Korea, the military situation is always a little bit tense. But overall, South Korea is a very safe country, and we have found that there's very little crime, and it's a very nice place to live overall.
Right next to that NNSC is a former Czech and Polish NNSC. However, they no longer use it. Directly behind Conference Row is the Panmunjom, or the North Korean Visitor Welcoming Center. It serves as a two-man guard post. Also, you may notice that the third story of the building is different than the rest of the building. Well, that's because in 1998, when we reconstructed the Freedom House, it stood taller than the original Panmunjom. North Koreans once again responded quickly by adding a third story. So, yeah, okay, you guys can move around freely within this area, take photographs of any.
So like I said, at one point they actually allow you to come inside these the blue negotiation buildings, and since the buildings cross the border, you can actually go into the north side of the building, and this here is a picture of the border, actually looking south. So this is where they've held a lot of the negotiations between the North and the South. We were told that those buildings are monitored by microphone 24 hours a day, all the time, 7 days a week. And then this is also, in this area is where they would come, like North Korean, South Korean citizens would come like for planned family reunions and stuff like that. There's some talk of that going on right now in the news, actually. This is just looking out into the North Korean kind of countryside. And this is actually a North Korean flagpole. It's one of the tallest flagpoles in the world. And the flag that's on top is actually weighs about 600 pounds, and it's so big and so heavy that during bad weather they have to take it down, or else it would just rip off under its own weight. So it's really close to South Korea, this North Korean village. So at one point they had kind of a propaganda war where both sides would blare these loudspeakers with propaganda on them to try to influence the other side, and eventually it got intolerable for both sides, so they had to quit. This is kind of a little lookout post for on the North Korean side. Again, we had a North Korean soldier who came and checked us out, but we didn't feel threatened at any time. After the Korean War, there was a bridge. They called it the Bridge of No Return, and it was used for prisoner exchanges. And so the deal was that any prisoners could cross the bridge in either direction, but once they crossed, they could never return to where they came from. So now they call it the Bridge of No Return. It's kind of an interesting place. Along the border, there's actually more than 1 million landmines, we were told, all along the border. So it's virtually untouched by human hands. And because of that, there's a lot of wildlife and plant life and other kind of habitats right there along the border. And of course, you can't just walk along there and start taking pictures of stuff. But on the tour, you can see a lot of animals, and it's really kind of a uniquely beautiful area, despite the fact that it's really tense militarily. On one of the last parts of the tour, you can go into the third infiltration tunnel, which is a tunnel that was dug by the North, and they found it in 1978. It's actually about 1.1 miles long and about 2 meters wide, 2 meters high, and 240 feet below the ground. And you can actually put on a hard hat and walk down into the tunnel and go about halfway through, and then they have it walled off so no one can actually cross in, of course. But that's quite an experience to see how they dug this tunnel and tried to come under the other side. The USO does many different kinds of tours of the DMZ and also of other areas of Seoul, so it's a great way to see some parts of the country that you may not otherwise be able to see. So that is their website. We definitely recommend it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.